Damn gone.
Can't talk, eating.
Nice.
Had a mouthful of love.
But I feel like maybe Rook ought to recount it, as he's the one that heard most of it.
Yeah, the talky stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, what from the
You guys like went from the camp through some tunnels and found yourself in our old house.
That's wonderful. The one person that wasn't here last week is the one that's recounting what happened last week.
But can't forget the trap door first.
Yeah, there will be blanks. So you made it into the house. We found Droop, found a score of dead, like dark elves all around the house. Left the house, went under the tunnels to the manor again, and then there was lots of shall we, shan't we, and then that's about all I can remember.
We forgot we missed out going to the town master's hall and at the trap door.
That's right.
He's so angry at the fact that you just like rescued Harlia that he's like stricken it from his memory.
Oh, that's right, because she was even being attitudey back at the camp. I remember listening to it and wanting to punch her.
Yeah, we all wanted to punch her at some point.
Sounds reasonable.
Well, last time she broke my hand.
Yeah, but you did get a punch in.
Mm-hmm.
And it also didn't happen, even though it did.
Mm.
In your memory it happened, but she has no recollection.
It may yet happen again to bring balance to the timeline.
Yeah, we might have to restore.
Bring balance to the force.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how I use my inspiration. I'll smash her in the face.
And this time not break your hand.
Yeah, there we go. It's a foolproof plan.
Congratulations. Your toe somehow.
What toe? He's already lost a foot.
That's true.
It grew back.
A piece of ass.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the point, guys. Did your foot ever actually grow back, or are you still on a peg leg?
No, it grew back.
Oh, did it?
Magically in between sessions.
Okay. I was surprisingly nice that session, it seems.
You were.
Yeah, I'll have to fix that at some point.
You can take my other one.
Yeah. Aha. Okay, so just to sort of run down then, at the end of last session, you guys decided to, at length, you decided to head back to town. I forgot it, not to the camp.
It's the new town.
Yeah.
The old town got taken over.
To the new town. It's significantly smaller than the old town. And you headed back to camp because you wanted to sort of figure out what to do next. So you've kind of had a chat amongst yourselves in town. You returned to camp to find that River had up sticks and decided to go and see if he could talk to the Banshee. So he's been gone, half a day? Because he left not long after you. And you've been sort of chatting amongst yourselves, and the Harpers have really emphasized that they really want you to go and try and figure out what's happened to the townsfolk. And I think you said you decided you were going to try and extract them if you could. So just to recount, the townspeople that the Harpers are sort of emphasizing are probably the key ones to look for. Toblin Stonehill, everyone's favorite innkeeper. Elmer Barthen, who's the owner and proprietor of Barthen's Provisions. Linen Greywind, who is the proprietor of the Lion Shield Costa. She's the one that you dropped off that stash of stolen trade goods that the goblins you first encountered way back when on this absolute shit show that you call an adventure happened. Halia Thornton, but you've already found her and rescued her, you wonderful people. Quillen Alderleaf, who is a farmer in town. You've met her before. Harbin Wester, everyone's favourite ex-town master. And Daran Adamath, ex-adventurer and proprietor of the orchard in town.
We can probably find Harbin curled up in a corner crying somewhere.
But why bother?
Can I just say he should be our favourite ex-town master because the other one wasn't any good.
Yeah, what were the odds that Harbin was going to turn out to be your favourite ex-town master? Wouldn't it be great if it turns out he's Black Spider? Ah, ha, ha, ha. I look like Dr. Robotnik and you never noticed. Ah, ha, ha. So yeah, them be the peoples. So you guys are in the camp. In fact, let's go to the camp now, shall we? Boom. That was my travelling in time and space noise. Did you like it?
You need to set yourself up a soundboard.
What are you trying to say? That was epic.
Right, guys. Are we unanimous in this decision then to get back to town?
I think so.
Go on, man.
Should we make our way to the tunnels?
Agreed.
Is that what we want to do?
So, how are you planning on getting into town?
Via our house, I was assuming, but
That's what I assumed. We go
We-
through
we-
the tunnels.
Yeah, go back to the house.
we can hang a rope out the back window, which they can't see, and climb down that way.
Okay.
Or leave at night or something.
Rook and
Okay.
I think we were assuming it was the middle of the night.
It is nighttime, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Night time. So if you want to go at night, that's fine. Tell you, let's jump again. Let's look at the overall map of Fandolin. So. Someone's slowly beating something to death. Okay, so here we have the map of town. So I get you guys are all gonna sort of climb out the back of the.
Well, is it going to be all of us, or is it just going to be the sneaky ones?
Well, from my
I
perspective,
think the
No,
sneaky
we're
guys-
going to use my sneakiness, but you're going to follow behind, so you'll still have the stealth from me essentially.
yeah, you guys can all go, and we'll work on the basis that Rook and Gaius are going to be sort of leading you guys ahead. So they'll go slightly ahead and sort of make sure the coast is clear.
Okay.
Roll.
Just feels a bit risky, but all right.
Well,
So are we
can go.
we're going to make our way to the farm first. That seems quite close.
And we saw activity there, didn't we?
We did.
so you're thinking of heading to the farm.
I think the farm is the best bet.
Okay,
Yeah.
like next door. So okay, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to talk you through how we're gonna do these things, because there's going to be a few different places that you need to go in. So there's sort of like a several staged mechanic of how we're going to work this. So you guys are going to go and approach the Alderley farm. So you guys know roughly what the Alderley farm is. You've been there. I know Ralrim hasn't. But I'm going to assume that you guys are going to give him a recce of them. So, this is what Alderley Farm and the surrounding area look like to your men. Okay? Now, obviously, this is the daytime, so you're just going to have to imagine it's nighttime. It's like this, but dark.
Oh, we can't see.
Oh, yeah, I haven't actually dragged you there, have I? That's fine. So, here is Alderley Farm. All right? So that, but dark. So this is the rough layout of it as you remember. So what you need to do is scope out the place, because you remember it looks like this, but you don't know what's currently going on.
Yeah.
So in this first stage, we're going to have the recce part of what's going on. So each one of the party has the opportunity to make a skill check. As long as you can give me a even slightly vaguely half plausible reason that you can use that specific skill to ascertain some information about what's going on in the area, I will allow it. So like, simple. So imagine this is, if you're thinking of a traditional heist movie, this phase is the bit where everyone cuts to a montage of them doing something clever, information or wrecking the
Like the setup, basically.
setup. Yeah. So each one of you can do a skill check based on something, and you either pass or fail that, and that will influence what goes in subsequent rounds or subsequent.
Okay.
So we can take it in turns for you to come up with. So, like, for example, a stealth guy might be like, I'm going to creep up round the back and stick my head and look in through the window to see what's going on. A magic character, like a character with magic, might want to use one of their magic spells to do something and expend a spell to do that. Someone might want to do a skill check around, I don't know, some sort of arcana or knowledge or history check or something, anything. I'm fairly open, as long as you can at least give me some sort of weird, vague, tangible reason that you can use that skill. I'm down with it, and the more fun, the better.
So, Paul, where are we? Are we behind this like little brick stone wall thing? Are we around there?
You aren't anywhere in this. You don't need to worry about this. Isn't really being used as a battle map at this stage. This is just.
I can't see the map. Is there a reason why I can't see it?
You should be able to see. Can any of you see it?
I can see, yeah.
I can see it now.
Yeah.
I can see it now. Okay. Sorry.
So, we're not going to drop your tokens on or anything. This just gives you what your character's memory of the area is. So that you
Okay.
know,
Yep.
from my memory, how might I approach trying to recce this place out? And it doesn't necessarily have to be specifically recceing. It might be that you want to try and set yourself up for infiltration or for whatever you might be doing next.
Okay.
So let me put it this way. The sort of three phases are the setup / recceing. And then as a party, you will get a number of successes or failures. Depending on how many you get will depend on how well your execution of getting to the actual action is. Then you'll go into the sort of like the actual execution of the initial stages of the heist as a phase in which stuff will happen. In that time or during the final phase, which is the escape or the sort of the getaway, inspiration points can be used to do a quick flashback scene. So if you need to say, for example, I go, oh Jesus, that guard has spotted you and is blocking your way. And you're like a squishy mage character. You may be like, shit, I can't really get past him. But you can use your inspiration point to go, well, in classic heist movie fare, there's a quick flashback scene where you show how you were so super prepared. You prepared for this specific eventuality and use that to explain why you can use a different skill check to get around this particular problem that might better suit your skills. Now, normally you would earn these inspirations during the setup phase of this, but to give you guys a feel for how all this mechanic's going to work, you've all got an inspiration point that you can use at any point throughout this session today. So it doesn't necessarily have to be. We're going to be doing a series of these sort of heist type things depending on where you're looking at in the thing. So you don't have to blow them all on this first one, like.
So roughly, if we got a successful skill check sort of thing and it went well, that would be where you'd gain the inspiration for the...
Yeah, you either I would award you a success point towards this particular heist or recce or whatever, or I'd give you an inspiration, depending on what you did. But you've already all got inspirations for this session so that you can do that as a tryout and whatnot. So... does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Done with that?
I think so.
Okay. So this picture that you've got here, this is what your characters either remember or have a picture in their head of it from what you've been described. So you are away from this at the moment. So the first phase is the setup. So you can either do a skill check to get yourself into a suitable position ready for infiltration or like the score, or you can do some wrecking. It might be worth as a group deciding what some of you like. Some of you,
what skill checks we're gonna, well, what sort of things we're good at and can do.
And then what you guys do in this setup and how well you do at your checks for it will then inform what happens in the second phase.
Yeah.
Right. So from this picture, we've got to kind of work out what we're going to do and how we're going to do it.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be too granular. It can just be like as simple as I'm going to go and hide behind that wall and I'm going to use this skill check because blah. You don't have to be like, I'm going to run and hide behind that wall and I'm going to wait until something blah, blah, blah. It doesn't have to be too granular.
Cool.
I have an idea.
Okay.
I would like to go hide behind this wall and then use my minor illusion to make it sound like the pigs are in distress to see if we can draw anyone out.
Okay, cool.
That's one thing.
What I will need you to do then is you're going to use your minor illusion to do that. But what I'm going to need you to roll then is a persuasion check, unless you can argue that you'd use a different skill.
Performance?
Okay, yep, I'll allow that. So describe to me how you're doing it. I want to know.
So I'm kind of sneaking up here, and I'm using minor illusion to create a sound from here, which sounds like the pigs squealing in pain.
Okay, so
just like a short, sharp squeal of pig pain.
Okay, so you put your token where roughly you're going to go. Mm-hmm. All right, so I need you to roll that skill then. Okay, so that's fine. Lovely. I'm not going to tell you how well you've done. So, who's up next? Who's got an idea next for what they want to do?
Just so I know, which way would we remember we would come in from? Is it down here or up here?
Your house is sort of further up, so you can come in. Well, you can approach it from any direction you want, of course.
Okay, so yeah, I was going to come in from this direction because I can see there's no windows on this side of the house.
Okay, that's fine.
And then stealth at like round the back, and I'm going to look through this window. Okay. And that's what you said, but that's pretty much what I would do anyway.
No, that's fine. So, what skill are you going to use for that?
Stealth.
I thought you might. Feel free to roll.
Stealth.
Oh
no.
Okay. Interesting. Who's coming up with what they're doing next? Anyone?
How do you move your token, Paul?
Oh, I need to drop it on for you. I've just been dropping them on as people have been.
Right, lovely. So I was going to do a similar thing to Ryan insofar as I was going to approach this side of the where you've dropped me, essentially, because there's no windows this side. But I was going to sort of scale the building, because I'm assuming that this is a fireplace, like from a chimney here.
Yeah.
So I was going to drop something in there to try and smoke it out, to try and force people out to see who's in there.
Okay.
That's going to be my clue.
So what skill do you want to try and use for that?
Acrobatics, maybe? Hang on a moment. Because I've got to climb up the top to do it.
Let's say it'd be acrobatics or athletics, maybe.
Yeah, I would go for acrobatics.
I mean, if you wanted to use stealth, I would allow stealth.
I'll go on then. I've got a higher score in that. Okay. So I'm going to roll for this to climb onto the roof and chuck something down the chimney.
Okay.
People out. Okay. Oh, there we go.
Okay, lovely. Next, So we've got Lars and we've got Growlroom.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what I can do here because
Do you want? do you want to combine together?
You can do that.
what were you thinking?
I was thinking we've got a lot of offensives going on and not many defensives going on.
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether we make some kind of a shelter that's camouflaged that everybody can kind of get behind, or that we can kind of make some kind of deceptive.
You mean like
shield.
using like the brush and the bushes and stuff?
Yeah, so basically get some kind of a fake hedgerows going that everyone can retreat to if necessary.
Interesting.
So you'd probably use something like survival or something. Maybe.
I guess we could.
Hold on, let me have a look. What skills? I'm thinking that we're probably best placed to kind of stay out of it, given that we're
Yeah, we're not
bulky.
exactly sneaky. Yeah.
You are
Also, if it goes down, then you can come running in, and you're quite
Exactly. We are basically the
the
muscle here.
muscle. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yes,
We're all the little ones stealthy.
I'm
Well,
thi-
I say stealthy. I've done something.
I'm thinking survival.
Yeah, you can roll
Through
that.
my
Where,
historic knowledge of how to survive in the bush.
where are you making it? Can you move your token to roughly where you're making it?
I'm thinking the idea is that we kind of make it almost where we are.
Okay, so sort of. Oh,
So
yeah.
it would be somewhere. But to be honest, we're kind of divided. But I think that's probably the best place. Ideally, possibly even with the cover of the wall or something.
Yeah, that's fine. So you want to do that, and you're going to do a survival check.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I'll do
Now-
survival.
You do have the option, so. For example, Lars, if like say for example, I'm just going to use this as an example, or you don't have to do this. Like if you were wanting to say like I'm going to go and brace myself next to the door for if anyone tries to run out of the building, I'm going to smash them. Like I'm going to prepare for that. That's something that you could reasonably go. I'm going to use my strength check. I'm going to use like my, I don't know.
You know what? Actually, no. You've got given me an idea there. If Growlroom, so you're setting something up here, aren't you? Ish.
Yeah, kind of
where I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up against the wall.
Can I go around here to cover this exit?
Yeah.
And well, in fact, I want to be here, so I've got line of sight at the door somewhere. And like you say, be ready for if somebody does try to make a break for it.
Yep. So skill are you going to use?
Well, if someone's going to make a break for it, I want to be using my athletics to chase them down.
Oh.
But equally, yeah, I want to be watching for them.
Okay. Let's have a look. Just
Maybe like perception.
I was thinking
Yeah.
perception.
My perception's not great.
I mean, you could use, for example, you've got the option of using something like stealth or survival even. You could probably, like, perception is fine, survival is fine. Hell, if you wanted to, like, you could argue something like going, I've heard of stuff like this going down in the past. Like, I'd like to use my history skill to use my knowledge of
I mean,
past.
if you're gonna let me use my history skill, then I am.
Oh, seriously, like if you've
giving me that option, I'm rolling it.
to give you an idea, when I say, okay, cool. So this is what I'm trying to say about, like, you can be as sort of far out as you want, as long as you can give me some sort of vague, tenuous link. Because let's face it, in the in like heist movies, they don't necessarily have to be bound by an over amount of life, as long as it's cool. So like if you're like, yes, I remember a load of times where this sort of stuff happened in the Goblin Wars of 2043, and they always ran through here. So I'm going to position myself at the place of most tactical blah blah blah.
Thank you for my explanation there, Paul.
Yeah, I thought you'd enjoy the authentic voice as well.
Particularly like the blah 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 bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are all gonna set yourselves up. So, under the cover of near as damn it full darkness, you creep up to the farmhouse in your various. Just out of interest, did you guys discuss what you were going to do before you did it, or are you? Hang on.
We're just doing random things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, eating a biscuit. Oh, it's good.
Chalky biscuit.
It's a chocolate McVitie's digestive. It's amazing.
Oh,
very nice.
I've got my Starbucks blonde roast homemade espresso coffee as well.
Starbucks blonde roast, very nice choice.
Oh yeah. Anywho, so yeah, you approach the farmhouse in the dark. It's lit up from the inside. There's obviously activity in there because you can see the flickering lights of fire in there coming out. There doesn't appear to be any activity outside. So let me just... Where in the bloody hell have I put the pin? Wonderful. Okay. Ah, lovely. Oh, sometimes roll 20 and I've slowed up. What? No, you don't want to put that down. No. Okay. Drag and drop. There we go. Okay. And So you all approach. Now, Rook, you stare in the window and you see 3 drow sort of stood around the place, and you notice Quelyn, Alderleaf, and Darren Adamath tied to chairs facing the fireplace over in the far corner.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unfortunately, in your eagerness to peer in and see what's going on, you do present quite a prominent shadow against the window, which seems to draw the attention of a couple of the drow, who start moving towards the corner. However, at the same time, there is quite the loud kerfuffle coming from the pigs, which luckily draws their attention away. At the same time, there is a loud poof, and smoke erupts and soot erupts from the fireplace. Unfortunately, it basically just envelops the 2 townsfolk tied to the air there. And your 2 guys outside, you just hear a slight tinkling of glass in the far corner and a load of screaming pigs and a big poof. Now, the plan seems to be going slightly awry in that none of the drow seem to actually have exited the room, but they are very definitely not. They're very definitely aware something is going on. Something is going down in Groovy Town. And so, yeah, now events sort of escalate as they might do. So you've now got to decide what you want to do to deal with this situation. You've kind of got 2 townsfolk covered in soot and smoke billowing. This guy here is obviously somewhat bewildered. And these 2 don't quite know what to do about the ghostly shape at the window versus the screaming pigs. So this is the moment in the heist where things are not necessarily going quite to plan. So now this is where you actually have to get down to brass tacks and go, right, what are we going to do to fix this?
Can I do a acrobatics check to leap through the window, smash it, land in the bit inside?
Yeah. And once you get in, what are you going to do?
Would I have element of surprise?
Yeah, I reckon so.
Yeah, and then I'll probably go for an attack from where I'm standing.
Yeah.
If I'm still standing at that point.
Okay, cool. If you if you do your acrobatics check for me.
Yeah.
Lovely. That's
For some reason, I can see Ryan's rolls. I didn't see anybody else's.
curious.
I've seen everyone's rolls.
Yeah, I've seen everyone's rolls.
Yeah, everyone's rolls.
Just to check, Sam, are you underneath your chat? Are you, when it says as, are you as yourself?
Yep.
Weird.
Changed as Lars, and we'll see if that makes a difference. But
How very curious.
Are you sure you're not not at the bottom?
don't know.
Well,
Maybe I'm the GM now.
well, you would have thought as a GM you'd be able to see everyone's roles as a fundamental.
Well, that's true. I'm only the GM of Ryan, not anyone else.
You're not the fucking now.
You're not the GM, you're my PA.
Okay, cool. So that's fine. So you're going to basically smash in the window and try and kill one of them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So what else are you guys going to do? So you're aware that this stuff is going pear-shaped. So you've now got to try and sort this situation out.
What kind of is this? A wooden structure, Paul?
Yeah, it's a building.
Yeah. So the roof is wooden that I'm currently on.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of a way that I can sort of like pull apart a plank or something, and then like leap down into the room between Darren and the lady and the fireplace.
So it's a
the other guy by surprise.
It's a thatched roof.
It's a thatched roof, perfect.
You could feasibly get yourself down there.
Because if I was to go vertical and land like there, then obviously I've got line of sight of him.
Yep.
These two Droll would be looking at Rook. So I'm just trying to think what I would roll in order to do that.
Acrobatics or stealth or survival, anything really. If you can come up with an excuse.
What is my score for survival? Because I might need to survive on landing. Yeah, so if I throw a roll on survival, that's my plan.
Okay. That's cool. Okay, so you're going to drop down. And what are you going to do when you first land there?
I'll have an arrow knocked.
Nice.
So I'm gonna take out this guy right here.
Yep, that's fine. Okay, and next up, what do you guys want to do? So we've got Lars, Growrim, and Nipper. You've seen or you've heard the smashing of a window, and you've seen Gaia sort of cut his way through the roof.
Oh fucking hell! We're just going to have to bail in, aren't we?
Don't worry about distance. Like we're not getting that granular because obviously this has all happened like with stuff going on. So like in the instant, like if you are deciding that you're going to like run in and kick the doors in, like you.
What is the building made of?
Wood. And thatch.
It's a little like strong wood.
Maybe.
Oh fuck it! I'm kicking the door in. I'm not overthinking this. I'm going to kick the door in.
All right.
Nice.
If you roll a strength check for me, what are you doing, Growrim?
I'm going to probably back up
Paul.
Nipper, given that we've had a conversation and he's going to do his crazy stuff, and I'm just going to keep an eye out to see if there's any commotion from outside, I think. So I'm going to take a defensive position in front of the door.
Okay.
Paul, because you haven't told me whether that succeeded or not, am I allowed to use my inspiration?
Yeah. Well, you're meant to use it before you do the check. So, but in this,
All right, fine.
it's okay if you want to do because we're still learning it. If you want it, we'll scrub that roll. You want to use your inspiration to do a flashback for how you've prepared for this exact eventuality.
No, actually, no.
Okay. That's fine.
Just roll with it.
You're just going to roll with that.
I have to, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So, Growlroom, you're going to do what?
So I'm just going to take a defensive position outside the front door.
Okay, I could do with you doing something that involves a skill check, if possible, because how well you do at this particular heist depends on in this round, because we're into the score part of it, so we're into the part where you guys are actually trying to like complete the situation. And so what's happening is you guys are making a series of skill checks, and you need to try and get enough successes before you get failures.
Okay, so
You back Nipper up and use it maybe intimidation, or try and be behind him when he breaks through the door, sort of thing.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the loudest distractive war cry that I can.
Nice.
But sounding like more animal than...
All right, cool, yeah.
So kind of rather than... So it wouldn't necessarily sound like anything threatening to the townsfolk, perhaps, but it would sound intimidating. Does that make sense?
That's great. Roll your intimidation or performance.
Do I have intimidation? Hold on.
Everyone's got intimidation.
You have it. It's whether you have proficiency. It's whether how good it is. You always have it.
Yeah, I'm
Or
just
you
trying to find it.
Performance, if you have that.
Hold on. I don't want to use performance.
Use intimidation.
I mean, there's literally
I'm just trying to find it. Intimidation will do. It's not very. It's not very high, but oh god, deception is awful as well. Jesus. Oh, go on.
Okay, cool. That's fine. Lovely. So you guys, Nipper runs up and kicks at the door, and it takes a fair bit of kicking, but you do eventually manage to get through it. And obviously your shout delays or sort of causes the guards to look a bit perturbed. So you've managed to take out, Rook, you basically smash in through the window, gracefully, and dispatch this guard here. And of course that's right under where I want it to be. And so what's happened with everyone else is that you've got a load of smoke billowing out of the fireplace, and you've dropped down into the midst of it, Gaius, looking all about and stuff. That's grand. Lars, what do you want to do? Because I'm conscious you haven't done anything yet.
How big is this window?
I'd say big enough for, say, a paladin to get through.
Convenient. Can I, having seen Nipper make a break for the door and Gaius disappear, obviously I've clearly realised something's gone wrong, can I barrel it across here? I'm going to take a leaf out of Nipper's book here, jump on this crate that's conveniently placed, and jump through that window.
Cool. And what skill would you like to use for that? And what are you planning to do with that? Are you basically in there to try and like shield one of the villagers with your body?
I'm getting in there just to get in there because I don't truly know what's going on.
All right, cool, fine. So, what skill do you want to try and use for that?
Can I use athletics, please?
You can. Get down with your bad self.
Ah.
Okay. So you run through and you leap. Unfortunately, you step on a somewhat overripe pumpkin. So you do smash through the window. Unfortunately, you do it upside down as opposed to right side up. So you land and roll, and you knock over Quillin Alderleaf, and her tied up chair, and so you're sort of lying in a heap. But it does stop the drow slicing her head off because the guy whiffs right above her head. Okay, so just to let you in on a little thing. So each time you succeed or fail, you get a succeed or fail marker. So you need to get to 5 successes before you get to 3 fails. You're currently at 3 successes and 2 failures.
Oof.
So you've got one drow down, and you now need to deal with the situation because you've got the 2 townsfolk, Daran and Quellin, basically choking to death in the smoke that's billowing out of the fireplace.
Although we have lots of ventilation now.
You do have more.
Yeah, we've got 2 open windows.
There is a hole in the roof that I've made for this smoke.
And you've got 2 drow, one of whom has just tried to execute Quellin Alderleaf, and the other one is drawing his sword, and looks like he's going to try and make a run for it to escape.
Can I use my inspiration, Paul?
Yes. So the inspiration is for changing the skill that you would use on a particular skill check if you want to do something. So say, for example, you said, I want to over this,
I was going to
snap his neck. And I was like, I think you need to use strength for that. And you're like, oh, shit, I'm all squishy. I'm going to say I use my inspiration to do a flashback, whereupon I prepared for such an eventuality by having some ropes tied, a special rope contraption tied to my trouser legs that meant I could do that with my legs as I leapt over. And I think I should be able to use acrobatics. And I'd be like, that's weird. Cool, do it.
Because what I was going to suggest doing was this drow that's in front of me, this guy, because I'm so close to him, I was going to stab him with an arrow, like in the face or something.
Okay.
And then with the same arrow, I could like knock it in my bow and take out this dude here.
Okay.
So like a 2-1 kind of thing. I was even thinking maybe like ricocheting the arrow off of like a metal hinge here or something.
I think that might be a bit beyond what is realistic that you could do because you need to deal with each of these situations separately as a group.
Okay.
So you either need to try. So there's things that you guys need to try and deal with. One is you've got the choking to death townsfolk. You've got this guard here who appears to be trying to kill them, and you've got this guy here who looks like he's going to try and raise the alarm.
So if I take care of this guy from killing either of the people to start off with,
And what skill check are you going to do for that?
Hang on. So could I hang on a minute? Right. Can I argue that if I draw a small dagger from like concealed within me and then sort of stab him in the neck with it, I could use sleight of hand? Would that be?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Can I argue that?
Yeah.
Was that a yes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to go for that. So, do I roll sleight of hand first, or do I roll my attack first?
Don't roll attack, just roll sleight of hand. This isn't combat, don't worry. Okay. All right. So that's cool. That's cool. So you do manage to pull your dagger out. You slash at him, but you sort of manage to slash his arm, but you haven't managed to take him out just yet. And in the commotion, he lunges and stabs Quelyn Alderleaf through the throat.
Oh, no way.
Wait, she's on the floor, isn't she?
Yep.
Paul,
Yeah.
can I use a cantrip?
Yes. You can use a cantrip, but you will need to associate a skill check with it.
I'd like to try and bundle over to her and use Spare the Dying on her.
Okay. I will allow that to be used, but I need you to use a skill check to get to her.
Obviously, some sort of awesome acrobatic roll.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Please.
All right. So that's fine. So you've done that. You've basically chucked yourself through the door and basically gone, no! And then you've sort of thrown yourself bodily on top of her. So she is now merely... She's going to be having a little sleep. Okay, cool. So... Right, this guy is charging through the door. So...
Hang on a minute. Can't be charging through the door because I'm in a defensive position defending it.
That's fine. So he's going to try and get past you. So what skill do you want to do to deal with that?
Probably strength, I'd imagine.
Well, that's not a skill per se. So
Hold on then.
one of your skills, sir.
Don't know why I keep closing it down.
So you've got a bunch of strength-based skills, so like athletics, or possibly
Athletics.
Okay. So yeah, what are you going to do with athletics to try and? Are you basically going to chase it down?
Oh, try and grab him.
Okay.
Get in his way, essentially.
Okay. So Growrim is trying to block this guy, and he manages to sort of slow him up in time. So there is an opportunity for either Lark or Rook to try and do something with a skill check to assist.
I want to use I want to use my bonus movement of a dash to get the extra.
So, Ryan, we're not in a combat thing. Don't worry about like distances and stuff. Just think of it as a film.
Okay.
What are you going to do to try and deal with this situation of Growrim sort of like wrestling with this guy, trying to stop him getting through the door?
So I want to draw a dagger. I've seen Growrim slow him down a little bit. I'm going to dash at him and leap towards him and hope and try and stab him with the dagger.
So that would be either an acrobatics or an athletics.
Let's go
Either those. Or alternatively, if you wanted to use a different skill that you think you could argue would be better for your character, if you can use a flashback from your inspiration and say, hey, just so happens I prepared for this very sort of scenario by doing X, so that means I should be able to use stealth or whatever else you want to do. So if you can, that's how you change that situation and use a different skill if you want. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm proficient in most dex stuff, so I'll probably just stay with acrobatics and go for the acrobatics.
Okay. Okay. So that's Brill. So basically, this guy runs at the door, and he sort of like stops in front of this giant hulking lizard, and he sort of tries to dart one side, and Growrim steps in his way, and he tries to dart the other way, and Growrim steps the other way. And Growrim notices Rook coming up behind him and just sort of stands there and smiles. The guy looks a bit baffled as Rook then taps him on the shoulder and stabs him in the throat as he turns round.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to do.
Double team.
And I think it's probably reasonable to say that at this point, the rest of you probably just jump on the remaining drow and stab him repeatedly to death, right?
That was my plan.
Yep.
Right.
Can I try and tend to the wounds of this lady? What's her name?
Quellin Older.
I mean,
Was that sorry?
Yeah, can I do that?
Yeah, so you guys have successfully executed the score. You've managed to, not necessarily the most smooth extraction you've ever seen, in that one of your people you were trying to rescue got stabbed in the throat and you did actually have to kill everyone rather than sneak anyone out. But, you know, so I presume you're going to untie them. So you untie them from the chairs. And you tend to Quellin's wounds enough that she's stable and is conscious and is able to sort of get up and walk. So, yeah, congrats. You've got 2 captive/rescuees.
So do we smuggle them back to the house now?
Yeah. Well, maybe use the house as like a safe halfway point.
Yeah, we said about that,
Yeah.
didn't
But
we?
we haven't got to keep
No-
going all the way back to camp and coming back again.
yeah, and we don't want to try and tell them to go how to go through the tunnels and then end up getting lost and walking into the manor.
Exactly. Yeah.
or equally leading anyone else into them.
So you guys are going to lead them back to the house.
Yeah, we'll use it as like a safe house sort of thing.
Isn't the tunnel
Get them to
like?
climb back up the rope.
I thought the tunnel there was one way or 2 ways. So surely it's just you tell them to go left, right, and that's it.
I mean, you could always get Drew
Yeah, but
them, of course, if you wanted to just send them back to...
I don't really want to run the risk of them getting themselves lost and going the wrong place.
I'm just worried that if we have a house full of
people,
But
they
can go- They can go in the basement.
But no one goes near the house.
Scared of our house, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
yet,
So it doesn't
but they might change that, right?
But if we put them in the basement, I don't think they're going to draw any attention, are they?
It shouldn't be above ground to be seen. So
Yeah.
How many?
So you...
Well, we've got to get them in the house first.
Okay, so you guys can, like, there's not anyone around at the moment. So I just want to check, like, are you going to do anything about these bodies, or are you just going to leave them as a, like, warning to the...
yeah, I think if we do anything with them, if we move them or do anything like that, then they're going to see that something's been moved. Like obviously something's changed, and then they're going to probably draw attention to the house again.
See, if the house is still in good state and the bodies are all inside, like maybe the one that Ryan stabbed,
Do you know what?
drag it into the house. We've got the rest of the night before they should come across anything else.
Do you know what I think we do? I think we need to tie them into the chairs to make it look as if people are still captive in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because there's 2 captives and 1 guard. So we could, like...
We need to fashion it so that it looks as though they're still there.
Yeah.
What if we can make Drew look like a drow somehow?
No, we could so there's 3 dead drow, right? So 2 of them we sit in a chair and tie them together, and the third,
Okay, yeah.
if we like pin him to a wall or something, like his corpse, so it looks like he's standing over guard, but really,
Well, we could always put like one of the we could put like a rake behind it and prop it up with a rake.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, if we do that, and then we like obviously close the doors and such, then everything, providing they don't get too close and see the smashed windows, it should stand.
We feed them to the fucking pigs.
Yeah, maybe chuck the No, yeah. Trying to think.
Well, you guys can like set it all up so that it looks like everything's normal to anyone.
Yeah.
I think that's the best thing. Bearing in mind we've got a series of other heists to carry out in one evening, essentially.
We do need to explain to people that that's the plan and not just leave them captive.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's fine. So you're going to do all of that and then take Quellin and Darren back to your house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You can do that. You know the route well enough. There's not really anyone out on the streets, so you can get them safely back. So you've now managed to sort of get them in the house. Do you guys want to talk to them about anything?
Yeah, can we find out if they know anything about what's going on? What happened?
So, Quelin and Daran, when they were just sort of operating as normal. Like, so Quelin was working on a farm, and Daran was in his orchard when this massed force of drought just sort of appeared on the horizon, and the town didn't really have any way of resisting because they were massively outnumbered. And so basically the occupying force just sort of rolled into town with this very intimidating looking drow at its head.
How many?
How many? Oh,
Yeah.
a couple of hundred.
100.
Couple of hundred.
Couple of hundred.
All right.
But
20 each, easy.
I mean,
-3 now.
each, but you know. So they were sort of very quickly the town got occupied, and then the townsfolk were rounded up, and most of the town they were interrogated to find out what they do, but they did the drow did seem to have a vague idea what some of the townsfolk did already, which is a bit weird. But so for the ones that they deemed useful, like Quelin and Edda and Daran, they were set to work on Quellin's farm to start harvesting food for the drow, and a couple of other people were to work. Like Toblin is expected to keep running his tavern for bed and water for various troops, and they've recruited other townsfolk to do jobs. The rest were sort of herded into and they don't know what happened to them.
Okay, so can we look at the map of Fandolin again, please, Paul?
Yes. So, what are you leaving those two in the house, or are you sending them
Yeah.
to the camp?
No, I think the plan was to leave them in, wasn't it?
Yeah. Do they know of where anyone else is right now?
They
Actually, before we leave.
So Quelin says that she hasn't seen much, but when she's been required to deliver, her and Darren have been required to deliver some food to Linen Greywind at the Lion Shield Costa. They seem to have been making Linen be their sort of quartermaster / logistics person. They haven't had a chance to chat, but she assumes that this is under duress.
Under duress. Okay.
And
what do they know? What do they know of Halia?
They haven't
What's she been up to?
Halia. They haven't seen her.
All right.
Are the two villagers going to actually stay put in our house?
They will whatever you kind of want them to do, because they don't have any desire to get out, but they are worried about what will happen when it's discovered they're gone.
Fine. All right.
So, looking at the map, Harbin Wester's home is probably the next closest place to us, isn't it?
Yeah, unless we want to skirt round the outside.
Well, just trying to think of, obviously, how many people we've got to round up. We've got to go to the Lion Shield Costa, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've got to go to Harbin Wester's. We're going to have to go to the inn. So I'm just trying to think about what is the best way to do it. Is it best to sort of work our way further out? So start close. Obviously, we've done the farm. We could do Harbin Wester. We could do the inn, and then we could do Lion Shield Costa last because it's furthest away.
Yeah.
Or do you want to work? So look at Halia and Lion Shield and that, and then work closer. I mean, how do you want to do it?
I would say if we're going to try and go for the inn, we might do that last because if I remember correctly, the activity we saw was over this way somewhere.
Did
So
the
we want
inn's
to
be where a lot of them are staying as well? You would have thought.
Yeah. So we want to avoid.
So you want to do that last, obviously. Get as many people as we can out first.
Yeah.
Big fracas. So, what do you reckon? Harbin's house next then? Looks quite small.
This
I
one.
think so. If we feel that that's going to be
I
necessary,
mean, we're only
yeah.
up the road, aren't we? We're here.
Yeah, we're gonna have to walk past it unless we fancied kind of going round the outskirts of town, around here somewhere.
Yeah. So we could do that one next then. Or
Yeah.
This way around, we'll come across and down, probably cut across the grass here or something after, and come to the Hallier's home.
Yeah, though we've already got Hallier, but
Yeah.
you never know. There might be someone there. We'll see. We'll see.
So you're going to head towards Harbin Wester's house and go.
Yeah.
Okay, bear with. Sorry. So you're going to approach Harbin's home, and it's still dark at this point, so you're all good there. So when you approach, as you start to approach Harbin's house, it looks pretty empty, like it's dark. There's no light on or anything. But you do see that there's definitely light coming from the town master's hall.
So should we make a beeline for that then, guys?
That's heading into the centre, though, isn't it? Straight away.
If no one, Paul said earlier that there's no one about really in town. When we walked home, there's no one about. So, if no one's in Harbin's house, we could go in there just quickly and scout it out.
But to be fair, when we walked home, we walked from here to here.
So you are near enough, when you get to Harbin's house, you are near enough to hear that there are voices coming out of the town master's hall.
Right. How many voices?
You can't tell from this distance.
And we know that they were in there when we got Hallier out.
If we're gonna beeline to the town master's hall, wouldn't it be more ideal and more stealthy to go back in the house, go through the tunnel, and come out at the hatch door in the town master's hall?
It would. Do the voices?
Or do we want to pincer them? Did someone go through the front door?
The sneaky ones go underneath, or do you want the sneaky ones to go through the front door? No, because then
Yeah, I was going to say the sneaky ones
Remember, guys, you do
are
have
more likely to
if,
get into the front easier, and
Yeah.
the people who are less stealthy can go by the more stealthy route.
and at least then when it kicks off, you can literally just open that hatch door and then you're in.
Bust in. Yeah.
So bear in mind that what we're going to do, because we're working on this as a heist thing, you've got this sort of setup round, the plan sort of round, so you can, like, some of you can go in. So this is how you scope out the area. So you don't really have to decide what you're doing quite yet. So this phase is just to figure out information about what's going on, where people are, what the situation is, and then you can adjust once you know that information.
Okay, so while we're outside then, shall me and Gaius try and head up ahead sneakily and see what we can see, roughly how many people we're working with and what's going on?
Yeah, basically what I want to know from this, so that you guys are aware now that there is activity coming from the Town Master's Hall. What I need you guys to do is you want to try and figure out what's going down in Groovy Town, right? So this round, you guys need to try and find ways that you want to figure out, like, either set up for what you think you might do, / how you're going to try and figure out what's going on, get enough recce or intel to give you the information that you need. So if
Okay, so Gaius, do you have a sending stone?
Unless I did, but did you? I don't know what you guys did last session. Like, is it still on me?
Yeah.
Oh, River had it. River,
that's right. River had one, and Nipper's got the other.
I think it's able to say that River gave you it back before you went.
Okay, so we could split up into 2 teams then.
Well, that's what I was thinking, because then we can make sure, because it's not going to take us as long to get to the Townmasters or in position around the Townmasters Hall, where we can look to then prepare for moving forward and actually infiltrating. So if we get ourselves set up in a remote area, and obviously it's going to take them a little bit longer to go underneath and round again. So we need to wait for them to give us the clear that they're in position before we make any rash decisions.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
You can,
we could sneak up, like as you say, to the building, because I think this window here that gives us view of pretty much the whole room, and obviously if this cell's closed or not.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously this window here, we wouldn't see if anyone was guarding the door. From this window, we can see left, right. We can see the whole thing.
But what I mean is, if we let them get in the tunnel, at least close to here.
Yeah.
And then they give us the word, yeah, they're in position. We can then be like, right, we're going to move in, because if we move in and we, I don't know, we're not very, something happens and we get seen, we're squidgy, and if they're still walking underneath, they're not going to get there in time.
If they're in position and we've got the other stone on us, we can look in this window.
Yeah, and tell them what we
give
see and whether it's
what they're
okay
in store for.
Yeah.
That's fine. So who's going?
Hold on. Wasn't there a window here?
Yeah, there is.
There was.
There is. Yeah.
Is it worth us having a little look through that as well before people start going through tunnels and shit?
Well, that's what we're on about. We're going to look in the cell to see if the cell door's shut.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah, don't give yourself away yet. Just if you enter into the tunnels, but don't get right up close, sort of thing.
That means you'll still be underground when you give the word that you're in position. You're underground. You won't be in the building.
Yeah.
We move in, check this window, and did you say another window, Mike?
This one here.
Okay, yes. If we go on either side, and then although I don't have a sending stone, and I ain't gonna be able to get information to you of what I can see, and you vice versa.
If we could approach, so we could start off here, go, yeah, okay, that's all good.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you mean. So we both go here.
Because we don't need to be there. If they're coming up through there,
yeah,
and what to expect.
Yeah, if there's no one in that room, we can be like, right, that room's clear. We're heading round to said window over here.
Yeah, and then you and I can obviously, depending on what happens there, we can almost pincer. We'll cover both sides of it.
And we can work out how, and if we would just want to come through the front door or, work our way around again.
Exactly.
So can you guys do me a favor? I've put your tokens on that map. Can you guys move your tokens, who's going over by underground? Just stick them over here. Your tokens over here.
I think it's everyone bar me and Gaius.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So you guys are positioning initially. So you do have the option to sort of pivot if you change your mind, because this doesn't all have to happen right at the same time. So say for example, you guys are waiting there.
So this is like a plan still.
Yeah.
This is the bit where you would say, for example, in a heist movie, you'd have this montage where you might see one of the members pretending to be a delivery guy.
Yeah.
Trying to deliver a pizza to the desk of a reception area and scoping out the area and maybe leaving a bug down there. Someone else.
Why have we not tried that?
Counting cameras and stuff like that.
Yeah, has anyone got a pizza box on them?
We've got minor illusion.
But in all, you guys could be actually, one of us is going to go and knock on the door and be all subservient and just see who's in there and oh, there's a message from this, or I've been told to bring this box of provisions or something like that, and you can try and talk your way into getting information. There's that sort of option.
Yeah, but if it goes wrong, then obviously
we're squidgy.
We're squishy. As I say, I thought our initial plan was
round say for example you were going, I'm going to go and knock on the door. This round you are fairly safe as long as you're not if you're going to do something monumentally stupid, that'll be a severe issue. But if you say for example you said, I'm going to knock on the door and I'm going to try and get see if anyone answers, and then if they answer I'm going to say this, you do your persuasion or your bluff check, and if you fail or botch, that doesn't mean that they instantly kill you. It just means oh, you didn't really manage to get much information, they only opened the door a crack kind of thing. You can't die in this round. The worst that you can do is bugger it up and not do very well, and that makes it more difficult when you actually come to try and do the heist.
My issue being is my guy, I'm not a talker much, so my charisma is not a good point for me.
Right.
So I could. How's this for an idea then? So the three guys underground. They're underground. Rook and I approach the building. Look through this window here to start with. Sorry.
The cell window. Yeah.
Providing that's all good for the next part of the plan, I could move myself round to the front of the building.
While I go to this window.
Rook could position himself here.
Mike,
I could knock on the door.
no, Mike,
See how
can we do one thing in this round, mate? So, like, you can look if you want to do some wrecking through that window. That's your bit of the montage for this round. So, like, but if you do the looking in the window, someone else could be doing the door thing.
Knocking at the door. Yeah, right.
So, like, you have to try and think of it like this is like a heist movie. So, like, you can't. The worst that you can do in this round is kind of fuck up enough that it doesn't really work, and it might make the next stage more problematic. So, like, if someone was to say, for example, like using again the knocking at the door and trying to bluff your way to see what's going on, if you really botch that up, it might mean that in the next bit the guards are a bit more alert. But if you do really well, it might you might have the opportunity to put them like completely off guard or know exactly what's going on, so that you can't, like, you don't have to look at this from a like, oh Jesus, if I fail my role, I'm probably just going to die or I'm going to be horribly exposed. That's not how this is going to work. So you guys can be as creative as you want, and you're not going to like ruin everything. Again, the idea of this is to just get successes or failures, and the numbers of successes versus failures inform how well you lead into the next phase.
Yeah. On the door basis, I can't remember what we saw from the outside. I was wondering if there's any empty barrels or even a barrel outside that we can pretend it's a delivery.
Yeah. Yeah, anything like that. If you within reason, like, you can find that kicking around. Yeah, that's cool. Like, if you need that stuff within reason, like if you said, I need a tank, just offhand, like maybe not too much, but like a barrel, you can probably go and half-inch that from somewhere nearby. I'd be all right with that.
Yeah.
You could come and tell them that you're there to inspect the venison.
Yeah.
Okay, so is the first thing that is the thing that Gaius and Rook are going to do is try and scope out at the respective windows, or are you coming up with different ideas?
I'm thinking that only one of us really needs to look through that window.
Yeah, only one of you needs to look through one window, but you do have several windows, so...
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, if you wanted, I'd be happy to sort of say that one of you could use a skill check to systematically check each of the windows. I would allow checking the perimeter of the building and looking in all the windows as one person's action. If one of you wanted to do that.
Yeah. Guys, how do you feel about doing the whole wheeling a barrel up to the door and having a delivery?
Yeah, I don't mind doing that. If you want to do the
perimeter check,
the perimeter thingy.
Yeah.
Okay. So this might be a bit of an odd question. What skill are you going to use, Rook?
Actually. Get on the right page. I'm gonna go, rather than basing it all on trying to be stealthy and quiet and unseen and stuff, I want to go more. Can I go perception, as in like trying to see as much as possible and get a good eye for the surroundings?
You can do that.
Cool.
Okay, cool. So you sort of bimble around the edges of the hall, and you see that there are quite a number of drow in the main area. They appear to just be lounging around. There's three of them sat kicked back in chairs, just sort of talking shit in drow language. And you've got a couple stood around the desk, the sort of counter area, just sort of picking at their fingernails with daggers and stuff like that. When you browse around to look in the window in the sort of what you would consider to be the cell area, you see a couple of drow. I'm going to say assertively interrogating a whimpering, just for a check. So,
Sorry, who was whimpering?
Harbin.
The
Harbin.
master.
I told you he'd be in a corner crying.
He's almost sat on the venison barrel. So you've done a recce, and you can see that there's 7 drow and an ex-town master.
Okay.
So that's cool. That's what you've done. Who's up next? Now, just FYI, Gaius, you aren't obliged to do the whole knocking at the door, trying to make a delivery. That was just an example. You don't have to do that. You can do what
I have come up with a reason to knock at the door.
All right.
But it's a question of the other guys. Do they want to? Now Rook has done his recce. Do they want to come in through the thing, or do they want me to? Like, are they in position for me to do my thing? If you know what I mean, or do they need to?
I was wondering how I'd relay the information to people.
Well, I would say I've given you the sending stone because I'm not going to need it because I'm going to be in conversation anyway.
That would make more sense, yeah.
So if I have given it to you, then you can speak to the other guys.
Yeah, if that works.
Sounds plausible.
So you probably ought to tell them what you've seen then.
Yeah. So I'll use the sending stone and I'll say, from what I can see, we've got roughly 7 drow inside the building in total. 2 drow in the cell building with Harbin, or detaining Harbin. So that'll be where your entrance is. So you'll have to be wary of that. We've got 3 sitting and chatting in the main hall, and 2 at the long bar itself. So it's quite a few.
Okay, this sounds very silly, but do we knock on the trap door so as to confuse them?
Pulling them down inside the tunnel.
My only concern is if we barge in, if they will retaliate by trying to kill him.
Yeah. Whereas if you can get them away from him.
I think
If
we
that's
all
I
okay.
just think that's likely to pull one over, but it's what the other one does as well. I mean, I'm happy to do that.
I know what you're
We
saying.
just come out, like, flag our way out. Like, oh, hello. We were sent down there on an errand by Black Spider.
Yeah.
You could certainly try.
Yeah.
If one of you wanted to try and do that,
I
you would need.
I can try and talk my way out of it. I can.
You got decent talk.
Got decent persuasion.
Yeah, you can have a crack at that if you want to roll that.
Are we going for this then, guys?
So who's doing the tapping and who's distracting, rather deception or whatever?
Can't we just open it and just come out as if it's like perfectly normal?
Yeah, you can do that if you want.
Can I know this sounds silly, but do we know the situation in the room, don't we?
Yeah, you've had.
Yeah.
So I can basically provide a springboard for Nipper to dive bomb them.
If Lars opens the door at the time when Nipper springs off your hands into the room.
Okay, so can I just check? Because like this round is really meant for you to be like scoping out the place and figuring out what you want to do, not necessarily starting to do it. But if you want, that's fine.
Okay.
The idea is that this round is for you to try and recce enough information to then decide what it is you want to do, like how you want to approach it. So at the moment, you've done one thing, which is get one of your party to have a look in the windows to see what's what. To be honest with you, I probably at this point shouldn't actually have told you what was in there because you're kind of all doing the wrecking, and then the idea is that you would then go, right, let's do this.
I think we were going to wait at the trapdoor to be told what the recce was.
Okay.
I think.
So
Okay.
There's not really much we can learn.
I think I got ahead of it when, like you say, when you put the people on there. There was So essentially, what would have happened is I would have done my thing, and if that was a success, then at the end of this round, you would have said, you have seen this while they were sorting out this, and
yes, essentially the idea is to just try and get a set. Like, if you guys feel like Rook and Gaius doing their two things is suitable enough for you to have enough information to then go, right, we have a plan. Because the idea is that this is
I think that was
basically sounds like that's the case, because they're
yeah.
ready to.
That's fine. That's
Yeah, we're getting ready to bust in now.
Should I? Is it worth me talking to the drow in there then, or are you guys just going to sort of use the element of surprise?
Well, if you want to pull them one way, we can pull the other guys the other way. But you are going to have to face more people than we are.
I've had a nuts idea.
Because I was just going to.
Oh, that's a surprise.
Straight away. So,
what if I use minor illusion to make it look like I'm bound? We open the trapdoor, you push me through and onto the floor, still look like I'm bound. You guys can be like, look, we found him. And then we kill them all.
that sounds good to me.
Guys, like, what is your... Let me... So the idea, right, is like, you guys need to find out what the situation is. Then you need to decide what you want to do. Like, what is your goal? Do you want to kill everyone? Or are you just want to find a way to Harbin?
I think we've got quite a prominent member of the town who if we can rescue him, will be able to aid us tremendously in working out what the hell's going on in the town.
You've not met Harbin, have you?
Why?
I was going to knock on the door and pretend to be, like, I don't know, their version of Jehovah's Witnesses or something, and essentially be like, you've had Harbin in here for a long time. Are you sure this is what you want to do? You know, torturing an innocent, unarmed man and whatnot. And just try and get a feel for how long they've been torturing him, how long he's been there, and what their kind of intentions are to him. And then when they tell me to bugger off, as they invariably will do, then obviously we can do our next bit, where we might have gained a bit of knowledge from them whilst they're abusing me before I leave.
Okay, so that's fine. So what I want to understand is, like, are you guys now moving on to the because rather than moving on to the planning stage, are you now moving on to the we're doing stuff stage? Like,
I think so,
possibly,
because I think we went, like I said, I think we got ahead of ourselves.
No, that's okay. That's absolutely fine. What I want to understand as well is, like, what is it you're looking to do? Like, what is this a?
We need a distraction in this area to stop them when they burst in. I think it's to stop them doing what that other guy did to what's her face, like beheading him right there.
So, but what I want to understand from you guys, right, is what is your goal in this? Are you kicking the door
everybody,
or are you just trying to find a way to, with the minimum of us, get Harbin out? Because, like, there's options here. Like, you could kill everyone, but there is the option of trying to distract the guys in here to get them away from there. You guys come in and either incapacitate or kill these two and get Harbin out while the rest are none the wiser.
Is that not what?
That one.
While I'm talking to them at the door, all these guys in the main room.
Yeah, but you might only get one person. You know, it might just be this person that walks to the door, and that's it. And these carry on chatting. And
so this is surely, like, if the front door knocks, like, in the middle of the night when they've got the town master, surely more than one guy is going to be like, who the hell's that in the middle of the night?
Okay.
Like, especially if I appear, like, non-threatening, and it's kind of almost absurd that I'm there. Surely the rest of the room are going to sort of chuckle about it and maybe throw some abuse my way, in which case they're not focused on the other cell.
So yeah, what the point of, like, the setup is, like, so you've got the planning phase, which is the idea that you come up with between you, like, a plan of, like, so you need to first of all, and I think this is my fault, I should have made this a bit clearer at the beginning. So what you guys need to do in the planning phase is go, right, what is the overall plan that we have. And so let's start again from here, because you guys now know, you've done the scoping, you know what's in here, and you know Harbin's there. So what you now need to do in this planning phase is do a bunch of skill checks to figure out what you want to do. So you now know Harbin's in there, there's a bunch of drow, and you need to rescue Harbin. So you guys need to decide how you want to do that at a broad brushstrokes level. Do you want to kill all of the drow, or do you want to try and talk him out, or do you want to try and use a sneak away to sort of separate the others from the two and Harbin and sort of kill those two and get him out? You need to sort of come up with a plan and then tell me a skill check each of you is going to do to sort of facilitate doing that plan. And then we'll see how successful you are, and then we'll move into the actual execution, which will be, and how well that goes and how we drop into that will be informed by how well you do in this sort of planning and setup phase. So I need you guys to tell me roughly at a broad brushstrokes what your plan is and how each of you are going to try and facilitate that in one way or another. Ideally with a skill check.
Are we hoping to sneak Harbin out, or do you guys want to kill everyone, or do you guys happy to just sort of take care of the two in the room and take Harbin out without the others being alive?
I was for killing everyone because I didn't want them to raise alarm.
I think we sneak him out.
If we get Harbin into the tunnels quickly. Yeah, I'm happy to take I'd rather take these two out because we're probably going to have to.
Yeah.
Unless we can get in undetected, but I don't think we have anything to do that.
You haven't got a minor illusion spell of.
I know it sounds silly, but will killing all of them and leaving them in there kind of put the fear of God into all of them? Does that make sense?
There'll be no one to tell what happened. Whereas if they say, "Oh, Harbin was in here," now there's two dead drow in here and Harbin's gone, then
I think we need to kill them all. I wouldn't normally say that, but I think that we need to kill them all and kind of, I know it sounds silly, but kind of set it up so that it's like a
second House of Death.
Yeah. I mean, we could either do it really, really
what I'm hearing is
and cover the house in blood, and because I got a feeling
you've gone dark. You have.
Well, no. What I'm thinking of is I'm thinking of the whole, because they're obviously fearful of things, and I think if we can create fear
and fear travels,
wiping them out quietly, efficiently, that's gonna do just as much damage as
we've already overheard them saying about our house and the fact that none of them want to go near there because they keep dying as they go there. Whereas if they all the people in the Town Masters Hall were dead,
I think it's just going to send a real message out.
That's what I mean. Yeah, so it's going to be threatening, even if they don't know who's doing it, and especially under the cover.
I think we need to go overboard, and I hate to say it, and I wouldn't normally, and kind of go either burn them or chop the heads off, or
we're talking about burning the town hall down again.
No,
I'm talking about taking them out.
We could,
but overly kind of expressing that, so that it looks like it's some kind of a monster that's killed them. And we've already had that bellow. I can do it again, and we can just create this sort of idea of systemic fear spreading through them that somebody's coming to take them out. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't want us to make it like if we dismember them and stuff like that. So it's like a real horror scene. Whoever.
Yes.
So the rest of them start locking their doors. With the rooms they're in, they keep themselves inside, and we can just work around and pick them off as we go.
I think they're just going to. Yeah, batten down the hatches, aren't they?
And pack up and.
Do you see what I'm saying? I just think we've got to kind of play on that fear and kind of create more fear.
Okay.
And
So
I think that's going to do a lot of good in the long run.
okay, so you guys are thinking that you'll is that what the party thinks? What you want?
Sorry, I know I've kind of spoken for everyone there, but that's my kind of idea on what we can do.
No, that's what I was on along the lines of. That's why I said kill everyone, because I was thinking, like I said, that no one to run away or run back and tell people what's happened. It only takes one of them to see us, and then we all leave, and then that's it. With our covers blown, they're going to be on high alert then from then on. Whereas if we can take away the alert status and create fear, so like I said, they are locking themselves in the buildings. They're trying to keep themselves out because they don't know who or where this thing is that's killing everyone, or the things. I feel like that's going to be a better idea.
What's that? What was that? Just
basically what you said, but like I said, if we can, because if we leave them alive and say they catch a glimpse or they see something happen, they're going to run they're going to tell all the other people, and everyone's going to be on high alert. But if we can take away the alert status and create a fear status, so they keep inside and locked in and wondering what or who is killing everyone.
And equally, it might mean that we get a little bit more sort of cover.
Yeah, exactly. Because like I said, there shouldn't be anyone out and about, because no one's going to want to walk the streets, in pairs or on their own, because who knows who's out there.
Okay.
Oh, what's this?
What's
this thing here?
That is another drow.
Oh, okay. It looks different from all the others.
Just side on, I think.
Yeah, they're just side on.
Okay.
Here's a thought. We could try and get these two out of the way first, right? Before anything like this. What concerns me is quite a lot of drow, and just one of them has to escape.
Yeah.
If we could pick these two off, and then maybe make a ruckus to attract some of them out here, and then we jump the lot of them.
Yeah. Although I think we have good coverage. Guys is at the front door. I'm at the side window. You got you guys at the trap door.
We're a bit shit though.
So, okay. So it sounds like you guys are broadly in agreement that it's a massacre.
Yeah.
Okay. So
we're sorry, Paul.
That's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. What you've done is what I've asked for you, which is come up with a rough idea of a plan, which is kill everything. Great. Not subtle, but great. So what I now need you guys to do is, like, this isn't now. I need you guys to tell me how you want to set up, like, to prepare to do this. So each of you now has the opportunity to do a skill check.
I've got mine ready.
To try and get yourself prepared for what you're about to do. I know roughly what you're planning to do. It sounds like what you're roughly planning to do is to try and take out these two in this room as quick as possible without alerting these lot, and then you're going to try and deal with these lot, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So what I need you guys between you is each one of you, I need you to tell me what you're going to do to help to get yourselves prepared for that. And I need a skill check for each.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, like...
My plan... Oh.
Yeah?
Oh, my plan is I have a grappling hook and rope, which is already attached to the grappling hook. I assume there's somewhere, it's a building, so I'm assuming there's like a ledge maybe on the roof. So I want to throw the grappling hook on the roof and climb and ready myself to.
Yes, that's perfect. That is exactly the sort of thing I'm after. Great. What skill do you want to use for that?
I wanted to go acrobatics.
Cool. Roll that shit. Lovely. Okay, cool. You're going to prepare yourself for doing that. So that's the sort of thing we're talking about. Like, you can come up with a skill check to prepare, to get yourself set up, ready to enact. I don't need to know specifically, like, I'm going to kick in the door. My plan is to kick in the door and go and stab that guy, and then I'm going to run over and stab that guy. Or I just need to know, like, you guys are in the prep, like, you're about to get yourselves ready to roll. So I want to know how you're getting yourselves ready. Then I'll tell you what. And then we'll jump back into the action at an appropriately cinematic time. And then each of you will have a certain challenge that will come up and you'll have to try and deal with it.
So I am going to just use whatever grot I can find lying around to make myself look beaten up and dirty.
Okay, that's
Then I'm going to use... I'd like to use Magic Illusion to make it look like I'm bound.
That's fine. So what skill are you going to use to augment that?
Have you got deception?
Illusion?
Deception? Let's try deception.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah, crit.
yeah.
you look super pathetic. Okay. That's lovely. That's what I'm after. These sort of prep things. So who's up next? Who else has got a prep idea for what they're going to do to try and get themselves ready to roll for this plan?
So, basically, because I don't know what's going to happen when I'm planning to be reactive rather than proactive as regards getting the guys by Harbin. So I'm going to stay this side of the door, not give myself away, but I'm going to prepare that if someone were to, so I'm going to be sort of, say the door opens outwards, when someone steps out, I'm going to be to the side of the door, hidden or whatever.
So
and when they come stealthily. And so when they come out, rather than have a situation than last time where we're chasing someone who don't give the game up, I'm going to literally slit their throat.
Okay.
So I was going to use stealth to remain unseen
That works.
in that scenario.
Yep, sure. Roll your stealth. Okay, cool. Lovely. So we've now got Growlroom and Lars yet to have preparatory actions. Anyone?
What are you up to?
So I'm just still thinking. So we're trying to make it look like we've captured you, Nipper, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're obviously gonna need to try and look roughly. Well, we're not gonna look like them because we obviously don't look like Drow. He's a lizard.
I mean, you could just chuck me up and then shout, "Oi, little help with the big one," or something, so they come to the door for you.
Yeah, if that's what you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that might be an idea.
Okay.
Maybe just prepare getting Nipper ready to be thrown up.
Yeah. Pretty much. I don't think there's much else we can do.
Okay.
Other than just get ready to throw you up there.
Maybe strength.
So this thing is about to go down. So your plan is to facilitate this to sort of prep. You're gonna are you gonna slam the door open?
Yeah, I'll throw the door open and try and make it look like it's really difficult dragging Nipper up.
Okay, so what skill do you think you would use for that would be most effective? So let's have a look. You'd be looking at deception. You could probably do performance. I mean, you could say, for example, try persuasion, maybe, if you were if you could argue that.
Yeah, no, because I'll drag him up and be like, "Hey guys, come and help me with this one. I've got another prisoner."
Yeah, if you roll persuasion for that, then. Okay, cool. Okay, and Growlrim, what are you gonna do? I think you were talking about making a very loud roaring noise or something, right? Or are you going to do that later on in the plan, you think?
Yeah, well, I can't do that at this precise moment, can I? Okay, can I be kind of fashioning some kind of a restraint on Nipper?
Yeah, that's fine. What skill do you reckon you would use for that? Fashioning. So you could go survival. I reckon you've probably
survival again. I think.
roll that.
Just make it a bit shit, yeah?
Well, 23. What can I say?
Okay, so you guys have universally kicked some ass, including Nipper doing the best job of deception there is entirely possible to do. So what happens is you guys execute a perfectly ordered plan. Lars, you shove Nipper, and Nipper, he shoves you quite hard, which you find moderately annoying, but he's really into it. Obviously,
Prick.
he chucks you
Sorry.
bodily through the trap door, and you land in front of the two somewhat surprised drow, one of whom appears to be torturing Harbin with a small knife. You suspect that might be Zrit that Rook has previously overheard. At the same time, Lars strides through the door and goes, "Give us a hand with this big one." And the two of them look completely baffled for a moment, but are obviously used to taking orders. So they move away from Harbin towards the door. At the same time, Growrim barges through the gap, and between the three of you, you very rapidly overpower and dispatch the two drow, who are taken completely unawares, which is great. So, Rook, you swing backwards on your thingy, the grappling hook and rope, smash through the window, and rather surprise the drow inside. You draw your crossbow and take out another one of the ones sitting at the table while they were in shock. One of them gets up and legs it to the front door, tries to bust out to raise the alarm. However, he is not expecting to have his throat slit the moment he opens the door by Gaius, who, having previously surmised that this sort of thing would happen, was waiting and ready. However, there is quite a lot of commotion now, so you guys are all in there stood over the bodies of three things. What I need you to do now, bear with. So for the next stage, which is the actual sort of approach to all of this, well, you've already done that, so I guess that's fine. So now we're in the midst of the actual caper itself. So you've got three drow who are now rather perturbed at what's just gone on. So upon that happening, so you've got the noise that's happening. Harbin is sort of cowering on the floor, bleeding. So you probably might want to do something about that. So Harbin is not looking very healthy or well at all, and he looks like he's going to bleed out.
Can I attend to him and use my medicine skill to
do that?
Eesh.
That's cool. So you basically throw yourself down on top of him and you do the whole like staying alive, and you give him the kiss of life, and he vomits a little
If
bit.
he's bleeding, that's just going to make it worse.
You should have known.
Pumping the blood out of him.
He coughs a bit of bile into your mouth, but he seems to be stabilized, so that's good. Congrats. So, unfortunately, Rook has now thrown himself into a room where he is outnumbered 3-1. So, Rook, you've got three drow advancing on you, swinging their swords at you. What are you going to try and do not to die?
You know what's coming.
What's coming?
Thunder wave.
Oh.
Okay. So
Oh no!
So you're going to use Thunder Wave to what end? To try and just sort of knock them off their feet?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Push them back, gain some time.
Okay, so you're going to use that as a spell slot, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So you use that to knock them back, and that gives you a chance to sort of get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So the rest of you who haven't acted, you can now obviously hear that there's a kerfuffle and a big thunder wave going on. So you've still got three drow left standing. So you need to try and do something about that. So one of them is going to turn and make a run for this window. So he looks like he's going to try and escape through that window, having seen his mate get hacked down. Does anyone want to try and do something about that?
Well, yeah. I mean, if when the other drow came out through the door, did the door open outwards?
Yes.
Or did it open right? So they may not have seen me then.
Mm-hmm.
They would have just seen their friend drop dead. They may not have seen me at all.
Yeah.
Is that fair to surmise?
Yeah.
Or have they seen the whole thing?
They just saw, and they saw them open the door. They saw a sort of flash, and they heard them sort of gurgle and fall to the ground.
Okay. So then, if I were to hear this window breaking,
yeah,
and sort of move myself here again stealthily, then I get advantage over this guy. Is that right?
Yeah, an advantage, and that doesn't really work like that because we're not in combat. So he has thrown himself through the window. You've stepped round the corner, and he is up on his feet, and he is sprinting. So you could try and head him down by using an athletics check. Alternatively, if you feel like an athletics check isn't something that you feel comfortable in trying to make, you could use your inspiration to come up with a flashback that gives you and come up with an excuse of how you've prepared for just such an occasion that will allow you to use one of your better skills.
So could it be something? Obviously, with my character's backstory, spent a lot of time in the woods and whatnot. Could it not be a case of having to throw a dagger in a hunting fashion in the past? So I have that as a skill, and then I could use for throwing a dagger. Well,
what you could do is you've got quite good survival, right?
I do, yeah.
Well, that would be kind of like that, hunting and stuff.
So like, you could argue, say, like we could have a sudden flashback where you were like, hang on, I've seen shit like this before. Like I reckon, and you've like laid out a basically a rabbit trap outside the window.
Uh-huh.
And that means that you can roll a survival check to see if you rigged it well enough that it will take him out.
Okay. So yeah, like
I'm talking about, like you can have a flashback where you're like, hang on, I thought of this, so I've covered that with this trap, so I can use this skill.
Okay, so if I use survival, I'll say I rigged up a bear trap.
Nice.
Outside the window, as well as obviously covering the door. This is me hedging my bets.
Yep, that's cool. Okay. Fine. So the that's fine. The bear trap sort of does its job and knocks him over, but it hasn't quite stopped him as of yet. That's fine. So next up, we've got these two guys here have sort of heard the commotion coming through that other room. So they're going to run over and sort of jump over the counter, and they're going to come towards the door. So they're now just opening this door to the room where...
Does it open inwards or outwards?
It opens inwards towards you guys.
Okay.
So you are... These guys have opened the door, so they're just opening the door. What do you guys want to do about that?
I want to yank the door open and with my other hand slice my sword through the door.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
With strength.
Yeah, I'll let you do just a base strength check on that. That's cool.
Cool. Give me a second.
Yep.
Boom, 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 boom. Where are you? Oh.
Okay.
That's like a 2.
I'm pretty... I'll tell you what, hang on. Let's just have a look at that, because I'm pretty sure.
That's a strength save, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a strength save. Let's go with... What was...
Oh, was that a strength save? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, let's... What can
If you click strength on your actual like numbers.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Give me a second then. Can I do that?
Yeah.
I can't. It won't let me do it.
Click the word strength where your main numbers are down the
Oh,
left.
sorry. That's it.
There
Oh,
you
So you push on the door, and it just sort of bounces back off of them. So that's
I
fine.
pull on the door. Pull on the door if it's open inwards.
Oh yeah, okay, that's fine. So yeah, you pull on the door and everything, and it does catapult one of them in, so that's fine. So now, Nipper, you've got a couple of guys coming in. They storm straight at you, slashing at you repeatedly, trying to end your life prematurely. So you probably want to do some sort of dodging type athletics or acrobatics check, unless you want to try and come up with a flashback that gives you a reason to have prepared for this eventuality.
Am I not still tied?
I thought it was an illusion.
Yeah, you didn't exactly tie yourself properly, so your hands will come out of it like instantly.
Well, that was kind of what I was saying, is that it was like a fake one, so that it would just come off.
Yeah, it's not even there. It's just visually there. It's just a visual.
Fine. I just want to bash them. Sorry, I just want to get out my lovely morning star and cave their skulls.
Okay, that's fine, but you weren't holding a morning star at the time, were you?
Oh,
all right.
Yeah, you were thinking.
Fine.
So what you need to do is try and avoid getting stabbed to death. So I would suggest that you would either need to do a either an acrobatics or athletics check, unless you can come up with unless you want to use an inspiration to try and persuade me that you can use a different skill.
No, I would like to try and use my acrobatics to roll into them, like as in take that. Because I'm assuming I'm lying on the floor still.
Sure.
So can I like roll under them and trip them, if that makes sense?
Yeah, that's cool.
Or I won't. That's fine too.
Okay.
What's going on?
You guys are having a rough time of it. So you roll straight into them, and they slash at you. The first one sort of slashes down on you, taking a chunk out of your arm. The other one runs straight past both of you and stabs Harbin Wester straight in the chest.
For the love, can you not see I'm working here, dude?
Hang on a minute.
Right.
Hang on a minute. What is going on today?
Enraged at seeing my patient get stabbed.
Okay, so basically,
Can I do anything, or am I too busy?
what happens is, so basically, in the melee, you guys then turn around and finish off these two. But unfortunately, Harbin is deadsies.
Oh, fucking hell.
So basically,
Can I just smash that guy's head in?
yeah.
Well,
No. We've got to set this up. But that is a dip. That is a dip, man.
I can bring him. I can stabilize him.
Guys.
I mean, I could stabilize him, but I think he's dead.
So
I can bring him back to life a little bit.
So guys, just to give you a heads up, like stepping back into the mechanic thing just a minute, what's happened is despite having I'm going to say laughably low difficulty marker, you guys botched pretty bad.
We did, so it's acceptable. No, there were consequences.
Yeah, so you got 3 failures before you got your 5 successes. So that means that you've kind of you've failed at your attempt at this particular caper. Unfortunately, you've kind of it's gone to hell. So unfortunately, one of the guys has managed to run off into the night past the bear trap, and Harbin is super deadsies.
Hold on that one, Paul.
Yeah.
If he's died within the last minute, there is a spell I can use to bring him back to life.
Yeah, it isn't in the last minute though. What's happened is so he's been what's happened is you've done these checks. They're not sort of instantaneous like this. There's been a lot of fighting around the place, and in that fighting, Harbin has been killed, and you guys have then been trying to fight off these other guys and have eventually killed them. But it's taken several minutes. So you guys now, as the dust settles, you guys can sort of reconvene in the building. You've got a dead Harbin and 6 dead drow, but 1 drow has run off into the night. So you kind of need to decide what you're going to do with that.
Right, we've screwed the pooch, guys. So
Yeah.
there's no point in decorating the scene any more than what it is. Now the gig is up, and there's potentially 100 drow who know we're about. So
well, you don't necessarily know that. I mean, he just saw. Oh, sorry.
We could burn the place down, and then it looked like that drow was just trying to make up a story to excuse his own incompetence.
We've done as bad as we could. We've done as bad as we could. I mean, at the end of the day, like the least that a fire would do is cause a distraction. So I think I tend to agree. I think we set a fire.
And also, when we get back to camp, we can always say we tried to get Harbin, but it was too late. They'd already burnt the building down.
He was lost in the commotion. Yeah.
So we're in agreement. We set fire to the town hall.
Town Master's Hall, yeah.
Okay.
And then
leg it down the tunnel?
Yeah, back down the tunnel, regroup again. Well, back into the house, and then we can work out where we want to go again from there.
Yeah, I mean, if we're working on the assumption that the majority are going to be drawn towards the town hall, then we should go to the inn, I'm guessing, because that's where the majority of them were. So if they're going to be drawn, so this is going to be the perfect time to hit the inn, because they're not going to be there, or at least some of them won't be.
Okay.
Hey,
I do have my flask to make lots of fire as well.
Yeah.
Also, we should totally put Harbin in the portable hole now I think about it.
I was going to lob it at that thing when it, like, obviously, my bear trap failed. It was going to be my despairing lunge to throw the hole at it, but Paul said he'd gone by then, so...
Yeah.
No.
You have to bear in mind, like, basically, this isn't like combat where you get, like, 6 seconds, you get your turn and you can do a move and an action. This is sort of like, again, it's like a cinematic thing. So you kind of, in the actual, like, when you're doing the main part of the heist, you get a situation that occurs and you get one opportunity to do something about that. It's basically an excuse to get you to do a skill check to try and succeed or fail. It's all about whether how many times you succeed versus how many times you fail.
Yeah. No, it's cool. I get it. I was just saying that's what I would have done had it been the other way.
I get you. So you guys are basically doing this, which is setting the town hall on fire, right?
Yeah. I would like to use my oil flask thingy to make it easier.
Yeah, that's fine. So you can spend a bit of time burning that shit down. So that's cool.
Oh yeah. At least we can do that well.
Yeah, I mean, you were very good at that. Very good. Very, very good. Okay. So now the town is lit up a little bit by a big burning townhouse. What do you guys want to do?
Should we go to...
Gone back in the tunnel, yeah?
Well, it's up to you which way you go. You can either go outside or through the tunnel.
I think we said we was going down the tunnel.
Okay.
The tunnel would be better in case anyone from whatever direction is dragged towards.
But what I'm thinking is, in the tunnel, I'm assuming it's a little mining town, so I'm assuming that the tunnel would be like, supported with, the wood they put up and stuff to stop collapses.
Yeah, for sure.
So could someone with a high strength check maybe cause a collapse in that part of the tunnel?
Well, you can. Yeah, that's cool. So you're going to bring the tunnel down
behind us. Yeah.
Yep, that's fine. I'll allow you to do that. So you can basically knock it down. So that's now inaccessible.
Yeah, because we don't want them, once it's just rubble, finding the a hole that goes all the way back to us.
Very sensible planning. I hate to break it, guys, but you might actually have burnt down the townhouse for real this time.
So are we going to the inn or Lion Shield Costa now?
Well, it depends where we've come out. I'm assuming we've gone back to the house after that. Yeah,
we've gone back to the house.
Bear bear in mind.
Everybody's going to be gathering around the
Yeah,
town.
they're going to be going to the fire, aren't they?
Yeah, so if you're going to go and recce, you can see that there's a crowd gathering at the Townmaster's Hall. It appears to be all now as far as you can see, and they appear to be doing their best to sort of form bucket chains and stuff. So they're pretty distracted right now.
Did we see anyone come from the manor?
No, not yet. But it is only a few days yet. You do see a couple of figures running towards the manor. So it might be that they're going to raise the alarm.
Kill them.
If we can
I mean, we could.
I mean, they are in the distance, so you're not going to be able to catch them up, I'm afraid.
No.
Quite fast.
I suggest we try and get more people out. We had the persons of interest at the start.
If we stay wide, if we work our way around wide, if everyone's, if loads of people have gone here, maybe they've left prisoners unattended. We don't know.
Yeah, well, we've got Halia already.
Yes, I don't think there's going to be anyone at Hallia's.
No,
I don't think.
And we've got the 2 farm folk.
Yeah, and you got that miner lady, the miners' exchange.
So yeah, the
Where
one,
that is, isn't it?
so the ones who are short now are Linen Greywind at the Lion Shield Costa, Elmer Barthen at the Provisioners, and Toblin Stonehill at the inn.
The Lion Shield Costa is going to be 2. That's next door to the fire.
Yeah.
I think as long as we walk with purpose, we could just walk there.
It is pretty dark. If you had your hoods up or whatever, you could probably get away with it.
Yeah.
Just make it look like we're intended to be there. Just walk through.
Okay. So is that where we're going now then? Lion Shield Costa?
We did. Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. You don't want us to roll a stealth check or anything?
No, that's fine. I think it's confusion that you're grand. Bear with. Because of course I didn't actually set this one up properly. Hang on. Bear with me. Sorry guys, just bear with. You should be able to see a vague map. Is that right?
I only see darkness.
Oh
no,
it changed. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, many armor.
So, this is your rough recollection of the Lion Shield Costa. They sort of have a lot of ornamental armor kicking around and stuff like that, but it's mainly a provisioners. And a sort of, that's kind of where you are. So you guys are heading towards there, sort of with your hoods up, walking with purpose. So what I need you guys to tell me is what you each plan to do to try and figure out, like to prep what you're going to do. So, like, what's your plan? Like,
So
in terms of getting there,
these are windows, aren't they? Obviously with the drapes and
These big windows.
big bay windows, yeah.
it's like for seeing through into a shop and shit. So what I need. So this is the plan. This is the planning stage. So and figuring out. So you guys know that your job is an extraction, right? You need to get in and get out with whichever townsperson or people are there. So
May not be there.
Sorry?
Or may not be there. We don't know yet.
May not be there. So what I need you guys to do is tell me, each of you, what you're going to do to get yourself set up for that plan, not knowing who or what's there.
We know that these back rooms exist, right?
Yeah, you know, you've been to this building, so you know what this looks like. You know, you don't know who or what's going to quite be in there, but you know the layout.
So, could I go first, Paul?
Yeah.
Right. So, obviously, being an elf and there being drow, can I get some ash on the from around the fire or whatnot that we've just walked past?
Yeah.
And try and make myself look pale like a drow.
Dark skinned, but yes.
Dark skin, yeah, like soot or whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
So my idea is to get myself ready to sort of knock on the door and impersonate one of them and say, "Look, there's a fire. What are you guys doing in here still? Come help us put it out."
I like that. Okay, yeah, cool. So what skill are you going to roll to do that?
It's going to be something like deception or something, but hang on, I just got to see what skill score I've got in it, because my rolls have been particularly impressive this evening. Definitely not persuasion. Could I use sleight of hand for that? Maybe.
Yeah, fine, I'll let you have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I need to roll it now, or just tell you what
roll
the plan is?
Please.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's fine. No problem. So you're going to sort of knock yourself about it with the ash and whatnot. That's fine.
Yeah, like subterfuge or whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. Who's up next?
Just still thinking.
You know, you can.
Can I?
Oh, yeah.
Can I go around to the back somewhere?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think which. I don't really want to roll stealth. Not gonna work.
We have disadvantage anyway, don't you?
But you.
Yeah, and -1.
Oh, I forgot. I get advantage on stealth checks because of the boots.
Oh yeah. Oh well.
Can I use my perception?
Yeah, because you can remember that there was. You can use your perception to sort of go, "Oh, I remember that there was like a
There was a workshop or something and a bedroom, but
and
I'll check out the workshop.
Are you going to check out the workshop? You resist the urge to check in the bedroom.
Yes. I'm a lawful good paladin, Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I use my perception to do that?
You can. Yes, you can.
No.
There we go. See, that's how you roll, guys.
Can you roll for me for this evening, Lars?
I can try.
Nice.
And who else is gonna? Who's up next?
Can I go have a little look through this window?
And that's the one that Lars has just looked in, but you can have a look through that window as well.
Well, basically, my intention is, because I remember what it's laid out like, I'd like to make the noise of, use minor illusion again, like the noise of some metal or something dropping on the floor.
Okay, so that's your intent to go and sort of peer in that window and make a noise through there.
A little distraction.
Okay, that's fine. So what skill are you going to use to do that?
Performance?
Yeah, that's fine. Lovely job. Okay, and Rowrim, have you got anything you want to do?
Sorry, I was on mute. I'm not sure. There's limited stuff that we can do here, isn't there?
Well,
I?
at the moment, your
Can I?
party's insight into the main room might be a bit limited.
Okay, so I guess then I've got to try and find a way of
I mean, you could.
looking into the main into the main room.
Yeah, I mean, you could do something as simple as kicking in the front door if you wanted to.
Considering everyone else isn't taking that approach,
There is always the good old-fashioned peer in a window like other people, just one of the different windows, and you can roll a check for that in some respect.
can I use athletics? And can I open the door really slowly?
Yeah, go on.
Is
Ollie.
that going to be? Because
Ice is at the door as well.
I'm going to knock on the door, aren't I? And
You're knocking
go,
on the door. Right, apologies.
Yeah, I'm pretending to be one of the drow, so I'm.
Okay, sorry, I'd missed that part.
If you wanted to do something similar, you could go to one of the windows and maybe do the same thing, but open the window slowly from the outside.
Yeah, okay. So can I? Yeah,
You want?
can I open a window?
Yeah.
Then, as sort of as stealthily, well, not stealthily, but sort of really slowly, shall we say?
Yeah. Stick yourself
Kind
next.
of without.
Stick yourself next to the window that you want. I'm just going to drop everyone's tokens down just so they can lay out roughly where they're going to be, just for my reference.
So I think this one, yeah. I think you popped me where I want to go. That is a window, I assume.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, that will do.
Yeah.
That
So
will do.
you can roll your athletics. I think you said you were going to use, right?
Okie dokie.
And where were you, Nipper? You were at that window as well, weren't you?
Yeah.
Gaius, were you at the bottom there? What did you do?
Oh, where's the front? I assume that's the front door.
Yeah.
I'm not the front door.
Okay. Cool. Growl room.
Why couldn't we have rolled these last time?
And so that just leaves Rook. You said you were going to open the door and walk in.
Me?
Yeah. What did you say you were going to do?
I haven't yet.
Oh, what are you going to do, Rook?
I'm gonna back up Gaius, but I'm gonna use disguise self as a drow.
Okay. Oh.
And basically, yeah, back him up in that we're both there to try and get people to help with the fire.
Okay, that's cool. So, let me show you what you find.
I guess we can't see into that main bit.
You can now. So I'm going to tell you what you can see. So inside are who you recognize as Linen Greyrind, the proprietor of the place. She is working busily, but looking very tired at her counter and doing a lot of paperwork, it seems. There is a drow inside the room here, sort of standing guard. Now, you guys go to this window, and there is a drow peering out of the window in the direction of the burning townhouse. So, let me just check with you. So, you guys at the front door, you were going to go in the front door, right?
Yeah.
So we'll knock on the door, won't we?
Yeah. On the door.
My plan is obviously like knock on the door. They come to the door, or one of them comes to the door, whatever, and sort of be overly like annoyed, start to go like, "What are you doing here? You know, the town hall's on fire.
Yep.
Like, there's 3 of you there guarding one person. You don't need to be here." Try and coax them out, and then obviously when one of them comes out, you know, we can slit his throat or whatever.
Deal with that as it comes.
Yeah.
So you knock on the door, and the drow comes to the door, opens it, and looks at you, and you say, you know, like what do you say to him?
Well, I'm gonna
Why are
say,
you still here?
why are you still here? Yeah, look, there's a burning bloody building there. We've got the town master in there, and there's a few of us. Why don't you come
Need
and
all
help?
hands on deck.
Okay, so not Growrim, sorry, Gaius, he's
Mhm.
talking to you, right? So I need you to. So you would normally have to do a persuasion or deception check. If you can, if you want to use that, then that's great. Oh, well, you need to use one of those because you don't actually have an inspiration left. So you need to roll one of those.
Right. Persuasion or deception, yeah?
Well, actually, hang on. Let me just check something because we need to do the lead in for this. So you were kind of leading into this section. So you need to do a. I need you to do a charisma check.
Hmm.
Oh dear.
Wait a minute, that's saving throw. That's not the right thing, is it?
No, you need to click the word on the left-hand side in your numbers.
Done the same thing as me.
Yeah.
Ah, there we go.
Okay. So that's fine. So you get him to the door, and he starts arguing with you. Like he's basically dismissive, and slams the door in your face very quickly.
Right.
So he slammed the door in your face. However, he then starts Growrim. You can see he is starting to move back into the room, but you have climbed through the window and are stood on a slightly raised stage, and he is yet to see you. So he looks like he's angrily walking back towards the bedroom up here. So you do have the opportunity to intercept him with an acrobatics or an athletics check to try and sort of take him out. Alternatively, if you want to come up with a different action, or if you want to, okay, cool. So you throw yourself off of the stage and basically flying tackle the guy around neck height and sprawl him out into the floor. And you hear a snap from underneath you, and a squeal from the drow. So Lars and Nipper, as you approach the window, you see as you get closer the looming figure of a drow peering out of the window in your direction. However, quick thinking, Nipper does his metal distraction, and you hear the sound of grinding metal, and the drow spins round, staring at the armor on the table, and moves towards it quite quickly. So you now have an opportunity to get in that window if you choose.
Yeah, can I try and open the window from the outside?
And before he does that, can I do another illusion? I want to make the armor talk.
You can't really do another illusion in this because you've kind of already done an illusion in that.
Fine.
So I think that would be pushing it.
All right. I'll let Lars do what he's doing.
Lars, you're going to open the window and climb in. Is that right, or are you just opening the window?
Open the window and climb in, and jump that guy from behind.
Okay, so that would be, I guess,
Athletics.
Yeah, athletics.
Maybe.
Unless you want to use an inspiration. Okay, you've already rolled it. Fair enough. Go, you got it. Okay.
Oh, blimey! Now, can I use my?
No. Well, I tell you what. Like on this occasion, because I was trying to tell you what you could do and you rolled already. Normally,
Right.
you're committed. However, if you wanted to use your inspiration to do a quick flashback scene to tell me why you could use a different skill instead, I'll allow it. Like you've prepared for just such a situation. In what way and what skill do you ideally want to use?
When you were a wee lad.
Well, just earlier.
Actually, yeah. When I was a wee lad, I was used to not being seen around the house, being the youngest of 12 when they just ignore me. I can sneak around a bit
Mm-hmm.
and get in places I shouldn't be.
Okay. So what skill
Um,
do you use then?
Athletics again. It's the best one I have.
Okay. So yeah, when you were younger, you were used to having to sort of dodge out the way and jump and sort of surprise your.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Go on then. Roll that.
Am I rolling athletics again?
No, because I was allowing you to have athletics. So the idea of using the flashback is to use a different skill that you might be better at. You don't need to.
I mean, I've got medicine or persuasion that I'm better at, so I don't think either of them are.
You could use medicine because you're like, I studied this and I happened to have, when I knew we were going up against drow, I had a quick think back and looked up actually what's the best way to take out a drow. They have a particular weakness around the sort of gland area of their throat. So I'm going to do a Captain Kirk style chop on him. Hey,
There we go. That's better.
it can be as mental as that. I don't care if we go full on Star Trek mental. It's fine. So okay,
That's hilarious.
nice
A
thorough.
5 to a 20.
You are. Okay, so that's cool. So while that's happening, Nipper, you hear the sound of a window like sliding open, and you step round the corner and you see a drow climbing out of a window in the back room.
What?
So you have only a split second to act. So you can use athletics to charge at him to try and
Yeah, just totally bundle that guy to the floor.
Okay, roll your check.
Actually, I'll use my inspiration.
Okay.
I was thinking about people trying to escape earlier. I happened to put a knife just like in my pocket ready to chuck in someone's back.
Oh, okay. That sounds very well prepared. What skill would you use for that?
Dexterity?
All right.
It's a ranged weapon, so it would be dexterity, wouldn't it? But that's not a skill, that's a...
Nice. So yeah, he leaps out of the window thinking that he's being all stealthy and shit, when out of the gloom, a knife wedges into his throat. He goes down, clutching at his throat, a mix of surprise and outrage on his face. Gurgle, 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 gurgle. So, that's cool. So, you, having had the door slammed in your face, you guys just notice that he slammed it so hard that it's popped back open a bit. So you open the door and stride in, and you see that this guy is lying on the floor with Growrim sort of wrestling him. So you do have the opportunity.
He was dead. He was dead.
His neck snapped, didn't
No,
he?
his neck didn't snap. You heard a snap, but a scream. You've sort of broken one of his arms, but you guys see that he's wrestling with Growrim and is reaching for a knife with his good arm from his boot. So you have the opportunity to do either a sleight of hand or a dexterity check to try and stop him doing that, unless you can
I do?
alternative.
I'll use a dex check,
Okay.
although I probably shouldn't because I've rolled absolute shite all evening. But
Nice.
Yay.
Excellent. So you slap the blade out of his hand just as he pulls it out and is about to stab it into Growrim's ribs. You slap it out of his hand, and then Rook, you stride over and just plunge one of your daggers into his throat, dispatching him as well.
that was my section.
And I presume, Lars, that while you've got an incapacitated drow in front of you, you basically execute him as well, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, cool. Congrats, lads. You have managed to take out all of the baddies.
That was a lot smoother, wasn't it?
Let's burn it down anyway.
Can we display their bodies?
It's a stone building, this one.
Can we replace the suits of armor with just their bodies?
You can do what you want. I tell you what, guys. That was really good. I think we're getting into the flow of these heists a bit more. I particularly enjoyed the idea of having pre-prepared your knife ready for just in case someone escaped through a window. Although, to be fair, you have had people climbing out of windows and throwing themselves out of windows in the last couple, so you would have been. I think that might happen again.
I do learn.
We put the bodies in the suits of armor.
I was thinking that. I thought it'd be creepy.
Before we do anything
I was
too
thinking more hanging them outside,
Well,
stringing them up,
before we do anything
maybe
too
just
morbid,
maybe disemboweling them.
should we get our former captive and release her and stuff before she gets freaked out by us saying no, come with us as we disembowel things before her?
She's just doing paperwork, so I don't even know if she noticed.
Can I just say, I think it's a weird situation where Gaius is being the voice of compassion and reason.
I'm not saying we shouldn't disembowel them. I'm just saying that maybe we should.
Not in front of a lady.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. Well, I'll tell you what is probably going to be the best because we're quite late. We're at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Why don't we call it a night there? And in between sessions, you guys can
Talk to her.
go through what you guys do in this particular building, and then we can sort of go for the next steps.
Yeah.